I'll tell you what, we're literally about 2 minutes back from two of the most amazing days riding we've had over here in Morocco. Here for the KTM 790 Adventure and Adventure R launch. And I guess, just to put these things in context, when you think about what KTM's done in that adventure market over the last couple of years, it was mid to late 2017 when they brought out the all-new 1090 and 1290 adventure bikes, or Super Adventure in the 1290's case. Only a month ago, they launched the new and much upgraded 690, Enduro R, brand new bike. But I think, probably these 790 Adventure and Adventure R models are really a kind of landmark and flagship model for KTM because it fills such a big hole there between the 690 and the 1090. And they come in as genuine, what they're calling, I think, mid-capacity travel enduro bikes. So as I said, we're here in Morocco. We're on the edge of the Sahara Desert. We're in the middle of a sandstorm. We've had 2 amazing days. We spent a day going out on the Adventure model yesterday. It was a really good way to get a bit of a handle on the electronics, the rider aids, and just a bit of a feel for what the things were like. Probably didn't do enough on the road. The roads were very slick because of the dust, so I didn't do enough on the road to really get a feel what they're like with it, scratching pegs around a corner. But very competent, very super smooth engine, that beautiful purr that, that a parallel twin gives out. And the other thing is we did a little bit of off-road stuff. We did a bit of skid pan stuff and what really surprised me about the Adventure is that how competent the thing was off-road. Different suspension as opposed to the WP Explore stuff on the Adventure R model. Obviously some differences with the seat, front guard, headlight cowl, that kind of stuff, but really not a lot difference in terms of the engine. So that was a really good insight into the engine. And then today we went out and we did some crazy stuff. Obviously this whole area is really significant because the Rally de Maroc actually comes to here. In, a few weeks' time, we're going to have the KTM Ultimate Race. It actually takes place right out of this place here. They do clover leafs, and the significance of that is that 2 guys from our Transmoto 12 Hour just last weekend, a guy Rob Novak and Steve Robertson, are going to be representing Australia there, on an all expenses paid trip, which is going to be fantastic. So what do we think of the R today? Well, we did a lot of everything. We had the rockiest, snottiest, shittiest stuff you've ever seen, with seams of rock coming across. We went into some dunes. I did my first, genuine dune riding, which was actually fantastic. And obviously we got to do it with guys like Chris Birch and Mark Comer and, some legends of the sport. And when you're looking at those guys around at lunch, you sort of see the pedigree and the DNA of these bikes. You see a lot of those guys in these bikes and just that wealth of experience. Again, we've talked about the motor. The thing was, it's a super torquey, beautiful thing. I think the rider aids, subtle but really effective. Got some new rally mode on the Adventure R, which allows you to dial in some slip as well as your ABS and throttle response and traction control, which is fantastic. It's much more sophisticated now than has been on on previous models. I think the 2 really big things for me though were the ergos. The fact that the fuel tank could carry 20 litres, the fuel carries it so low, it's so thin upstairs, so you can actually move around on the bike really easily. You can sit down on a lot more. I sat down and did some stuff on the sand today that I wouldn't dream of doing on a 1090 in the seated position. You have to be standing to muscle the thing around. And interestingly enough, there's not a huge difference because it carries that weight so low. Aside from being nice and narrow up top, it's not a lot of difference between when the bike was full of fuel and when it was empty. So a 1090 and 1290, the thing feels fantastic when it's just about to run out of fuel from a handling point of view. So that was super impressive. But I got to think, if there was one thing that stood out, it's this suspension, this WP, the Explore fork and the PDS shock. With big adventure bikes, the thing weighs 190 kilos. You generally baby the thing around when you're hitting square edge stuff and big hits. But, progressively today, I realised this stuff was up to the job. You could slam stuff, and it was incredibly progressive and didn't bottom out and, gave it a lot of confidence. And yet it was still really plush. You could go over these rocky, gully, gardens, 3rd and 4th gear. All you had to do was watch out for the big babies had some goalies to make sure it didn't throw the wheel out from underneath you. So all in all, really impressive. I think the KTM guys are rightfully proud of, what they've delivered with these 2 bikes. We've done a few interviews with a couple of the design team here, so keep an eye on the website. We're going to have those, bring you those interviews with the guys who look after various elements of the bike in the coming weeks. And I'm going to go and put on a new set of underpants. Unfortunately, they lost my luggage. I haven't seen it for 4 days. I've been in the same underpants for 3-4 days. So I'm going to go for a little bit of a jump in the pool. Hopefully my bag will arrive and we fly out tomorrow.